Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to each of you joining from different parts of the country and beyond, and for yet another ProLance online masterclass. I'm Dr. Shanoli Ray, founder and director of ProLance, and it gives me immense joy to see enthusiastic participants for our session on time management, master your minutes, maximize your impact. Time. It's the one resource we all get equally. Yet, how we use it defines our success, our peace of mind, and our productivity. At ProLance, we believe that managing time is not just about being busy, it's about being purposeful. Today's session is designed to help you do exactly that, to identify where your time really goes, how to prioritize what matters, and how to stay focused even in a world full of distractions. And we could not have a better facilitator to guide us through this journey. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Usha Varadwaj, an accomplished counselor, soft skills and posh trainer, and an image management and personal professional branding consultant. Usha has helped countless individuals and organizations build not only better productivity habits but also balanced, confident, and mindful approaches to professional growth. So get ready to reflect, participate, and most importantly, take away real actionable tools to master your minutes and truly maximize your impact. Once again, welcome to the ProLance learning community where growth never stops. Over to you, Ms. Pusha, and welcome to the ProLance online masterclass.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shanoli, for that kind intro. And I truly find it commendable the effort you're making, the platform you're giving to everyone, because not everyone is getting such platforms, especially online from the comfort of your home. So, this is quite commendable. So, everyone, myself, Kusha Bhardwaj, and I would request you all if you can switch on your cameras if it's comfortable for you, because I know we are over here sitting at our homes and in an online format, but it makes it much more personal. I can see you, you can see me. So, there is much more better understanding. This is just a request if it's comfortable for you. So, for initially, I would like to start with an activity. I would like to start with an activity. I would like you all to start writing either on your phone or on a paper, anything, anywhere you can write. What
And
all
the
you
chat box also they can use.
Yes, you can use the chat box also. You have to tell me, what all activities do you do in a week? In a week, what all activities you do? You sleep, you eat, you maybe work, you study, you may scroll social media, you may hang out with family, friends, whatever it is you do on a daily basis in a week. Can you all do that? And please specify that how much time do you spend on that particular activity in a week? Like if we sleep for 8 hours a day, 8 into 7. Is it understood? Any queries? Okay, Adrita. Yes, please, start mentioning in the chat box. We can do the calculations later. We can just write over here, 8 hours a day. We can do it, even not a week. Let's make it quicker for a day only. Like for today or yesterday, what all activities you did and how much time they took.
I'm just
Okay.
5 days walking, 10 into 5, 50 hours. Yes, give
So
it
what is the total of that? What is the total of that?
3 hours with family, 21 hours, and 7 hours into 6 days, sleeping 42. Divya ma'am has written household chores, sleeping, chatting, spending time with family. 0.5 hours reciting the Holy Book. Amjad sir has written.
Divya, can you please also mention the time you took for these shoots? Like for on a daily basis for household chores, it took you 4 hours, 5 hours. How much time did you took? How many hours did you sleep for? So if we look at Mr. Amjad's, routine, can you tell me what is the total of that?
Tamanna has written sleep 7 hours into 6, 42 hours. Attend college 4 hours into 7, 28 hours. Exercise 1 into 7, 7 hours. And then what is the total amount coming? Please add all these like 42 plus 28 plus 7 plus 14.
Okay, 28 hours of mobile usage.
4 hours into 7 days. Yes, this is minimum.
So what is the purpose of this activity? What I was trying to tell you, as we have to. The purpose of this activity was, do you know how many hours a week do we have? Like in a day, we have 24 hours. In a week, we have 168 hours only. And by calculating our chores, the activities we do on a regular basis for a week, now we have a basic knowledge of where we are spending our time, majorly, minorly. Still, if we go by Mr. Amjad's, routine, it has a total of 165.5 hours in a week, including, 4 hours each day spending on mobile. Still,
Tamanna's routine is coming total as 91 hours.
yes, 91
Okay.
hours.
Then
So,
go.
can we see over here, Dr. Shanoli, if you can also see over here that if we subtract 168, 91 hours from 168 hours, we still
There's
have
a
so
time
much
lapse,
time.
time gap or time lapse, we can say that. Adrita is mentioning 126 hours per week. So we
Still,
all have, yes, we are
we
skipping
all
some
have,
time.
yes. So the idea of this activity was this only. We always say, I don't have much time. We don't have time. There's no time for anything. Now we can see even after scrolling phone for 4 hours, we have some time left. Each one of us has been given equal amount of time, 168 hours per week. And still, after doing everything, sleeping, eating, giving time to family, prayer, household chores, everything, we still have time left. So we cannot complain that I am not able to manage my time because I don't have time. Do all agree with me now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Now we can see that it's imperative for us to manage our time, more judiciously, more intelligently. Yes, Mr. Amjad, it is 166 for you, but in those 166 hours, you are scrolling your phone also for 4 hours, if you see that. And you can do that more productively. If I'm spending my time on maybe Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I can do that more productively, maybe to learn something new. And that is what we have to manage. Only Facebook and WhatsApp. That is great. Nothing else. That is very nice. But my point here is at times we are spending much more time on activities which are not at the end of the day that productive for us. If we reduce the duration of those activities and spend our time more intelligently, we have ample time. Dr. Shanoli, I have a presentation to share. Can you give
Yeah.
me the access or shall I share it with you?
No, no.
If you can give me the.
Allowing. Yeah. Now you can share.
Yes, thank you so much. Is it visible to everyone? So, why I have included stress management in time management also, because these go hand in hand. If we are not managing our time judiciously, smartly, we are going to end up stressed. Do you agree or not? I want, your constant participation. Only then this session is going to be much more productive and we may have some kind of learning out of it. Don't you think that time and stress go hand in hand?
Yes.
What are the objectives of time management? Prioritizing, isn't it? This is the most important thing. If I know, if I am smart enough to understand what are the most important activities which are to be done and what are the activities which are not that important, can be, done on a later period of time or maybe for lesser amount of time. If I understand these things, I am going to manage my time in a much more better way. And we also have to keep some buffer for, some crisis situation also. At times, now I planned my day, and being a woman, I thought that I will be, giving this session. And, in the same time, a meeting for my child also happened to be, scheduled. And he's sitting over here only. So we have to manage a lot of things because there might be, sudden changes, sudden events that might happen. If we are managing our time in a better way, we will increase our productivity. It would reduce our stress level. We will balance our work, studies, and personal priorities. And we will have our goals clarified. I know what I have to achieve in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, if I am managing and scheduling everything. If we put time as an acronym for T, things to do list, for I, identify priority, for M, making it happen. It is not about, just making the list. We have to, practice that list also. We have to achieve those things also. We have to do those things also. And later on, for E, it stands for evaluation. We have to evaluate, was I able to adhere to my schedule, adhere to my timetable? What were the deviations? What were the changes? Were those because of me? Because I was procrastinating, I was lazy, I was not able to manage timetable? Or was there some sudden event? Would any one of you like to share some reasons that because of those I'm not able to manage my time in a much more better way? Is everyone okay with English? If uh, any of you
Okay.
here, everyone is okay with English?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think everyone understands. Thank you.
Because I'm more than okay to, repeat everything in Hindi also.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Dr. Hareen.
Yeah, so thank you for the session, ma'am. And yes, I would like to add, I'm a teacher and assistant professor at a teacher education college. So this is my first year of this working experience. So I need to start from scratch. So I need to prepare the content and PPTs for my students. So because the syllabus has been changed and what have learned as a student is it's no more over there. So it's taking a lot of time, like more than expected. So it's very difficult for me to manage all these things. And every day I need to prepare for the class. So every day I need to compromise my sleep and all those things happening. So this is what I would like to share. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Hareen, for sharing that. And I would definitely, by the end of this session, I would definitely, hear from you only that yes, I can, have some time for myself and save time on making, presentations. I would tell you, don't worry. You're going to learn that. And I would give you some tips also, because of which you would be able to prepare your PPTs maybe in 10 to 15 minutes only. Nothing more. At the
That would be
most half
great,
an hour.
ma'am. That would
Yes.
be great. Thank you so much.
And thank you, for sharing that. Because, it is very important to figure out if I'm losing on to time on not so important activities, like losing on a lot of time on preparing PPTs. She is losing time for her personal life. She might take more rest if she is not, preparing tedious PPTs. So yes, this is a very, very relevant question that if we can have some ways where I don't have to spend hours and hours on preparing PPTs because time is money. If she has leftover time, she might be taking personal classes. She can do something for her personal growth also, but she's not having any more time for herself. You can make money, you cannot make time. You can buy gold, you cannot buy time. So we have to work towards making our time more qualitative, more productive. We have to change things. Are you all with us? Because I need to hear you all if you all can
Yes, yes,
relate to
ma'am.
this.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, we must have some smart goals for time management. What are smart goals? Smart goals are specific. Specifically mentioning that this I have to complete, if I'm a student, that this chapter or these many pages of this chapter today, these many exercises today. If I'm a working professional, I must specifically mention that this much work or this much files I have to read or audit or anything. That should be specific. Number, the time it would take. It should be mentioned clearly. Either I may write it somewhere or in my head. Whatever I'm planning, it should be measurable. Like these many units, 5 units I have to complete today. These many files or projects. There should be a measurable number which can be aligned with the time spent. The target we are keeping, it should be achievable. If I cannot spend more than an hour, or I cannot do, I may, make it a mission that I am going to complete maybe 3 chapters today. Like maybe Dr. Hureen might think that I would make all the PPTs for this week on Sunday only, and each PPT is taking 2 hours. That is an unrealistic target, isn't it? Because her whole day would be spent in this only, and she would not have any other time for any other activity. So it should be smartly kept. The goal should be smartly kept. Those should be realistic and those should be time bound. Goals should be time bound, that I am going to do this activity for this much time only. After that, I have other things to do. Like we sleep. If I have to wake up at 6 in the morning, I plan myself if I have to complete 8 hours of sleep that I would fall asleep at 10 p.m. in the night. Like that only everything should be time bound. We have to plan and prepare. We may use calendars. We may have appointment books. We may set goals. We may write everything on a computer. Maybe notes. What I generally do, I put alarm for everything. I make, alarms, and also I, WhatsApp everything to myself. That these are the things I have to do tomorrow, or these are the things I'm going to achieve today. I make a note of it. At times, I WhatsApp it to myself so that I can get back to it during the day, and I put alarms. So that if I'm spending too much time on a particular activity, maybe scrolling phone, I put an alarm that if I'm done with my breakfast and everything till 10, I put an alarm that by 10 I have to start working. By 10 I have to start studying. If I have to take a break, I put another alarm. I plan that how much time this activity is going to take, and I put an alarm. As soon as that alarm rings, I'm reminded. Now it's time for next step of the day. Is that relatable? Can we do that? Otherwise, the lines are extremely vague. चलो 1 घंटा और इंस्टाग्राम देख लेते. Okay, I'm watching a few reels only, a few reels on YouTube only, and that stretches to 3-4 hours. Doesn't it? We lose the track of time. Has anybody heard about this 80-20 rule? Would anybody like to share? Ji, Mr. Ved.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, but your voice is quite low. Is that for everyone or for me only?
No, it's having a bit low. Wait, can you please put your camera on? That would be
Yes,
better.
ma'am. Right. Yes, ma'am. 80-20 rule is according to what I know. One task we have to take, 80% we have to do. After that, if we are bored from that task, then 20% some other task we can do. And same we can swap accordingly.
Yes, that is also a correct explanation of this. Another way we can see 80-20 rule, most of the, 80% is the outcome, and most of the 80% outcome is achieved by 20% of the task we have during the day. 20% of task we do during the day give the outcome of 80%. To explain it more, like we say that we have the most of the wealthiest people have the largest share of the GDP. We all know that. The richest people in India, maybe Ambani, Adani, these people, they have the largest chunk of GDP. While being only, if we, all of the UHNIs, if we talk about, maybe making 5 to 10% of the population, but having maybe 80% or 90% wealth. I don't have the exact facts, but taking the share of 80 to 90% in the GDP. And that is how 80-20 rule also work. 20% of the tasks, be it working. I worked for, maybe 5 hours or 6 hours. During that also we take breaks, even if we are working 9 to 5, an 8-hour shift. Because most of the time, our time is wasted in traveling. We are eating, we are, scrolling phone, we are sleeping. These are not the most productive outcome. how are we going to achieve outcome? From the productive things we do in the day. And productive things are not eating. It is not actually going to be beneficial for me. It is health-wise, it is quite beneficial. But it is not going to appear like a financial benefit, the way we perceive things. So 20% of the things we do in the day give us 80% of the productivity. So we have to focus that even if I am doing only, maybe for 5-6 hours, I'm doing something productive in the day. That should be actually productive. That should be actually prepared and planned. If a child is sitting, the whole day, I have seen people, I have seen students, I have seen people studying or working the whole day. Even after the whole day, they have achieved nothing. They have prepared nothing. And there are so many reasons for that. At times, people are doing something and they are preoccupied somewhere. Studying, looking at your phone, studying, watching TV, working in your office and going through internet, social media. And in that place, if we do whatever I am doing, if I am doing it wholeheartedly, my focus is on that thing only, even for an hour, that is going to be much more productive for me. Even if I'm giving only 1 hour, I'm giving 5 hours and my attention is divided, it is not going to be productive. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you ever felt that if you have made any mistakes in planning your day, wasting time, has that given you some experience? Do you learn from your mistakes? Because that is extremely important. Can any of you give me an example that is how I somehow wasted my time, but I learned that I do not want to do things like that because it is not productive. I will make changes from next time on. Or you understood that you made a mistake, but you have not yet made the changes, but you plan to. Okay, I'll begin with it. What I do is like Mr. Amjad, I too happen to at times spend time on social media. I tell myself, okay, I'll be just taking a break and watching a few reels for half an hour only, and I suddenly I look at time and it's been 1 hour or 1.5 hours. That is why I took the change and I started putting alarms. That if I am planning to do some recreation of something which is not time bound. Like reels, you can watch continuously. Movie is time bound. Any episode of something is time bound. But reels are not time bound. So I put an alarm for half an hour. As soon as that alarm rings, I know that I have spent enough time. Now I have to get back to my work. Any of you feel that this is something that I feel is a mistake and that is how I corrected it, or I plan to correct it?
Ma'am, I would like to share one.
Yes, Tamanna, yes.
For example, sometimes while I used to do self-study, there used to be a urge whenever the phone used to ring or there used to be a message pop up, a notification used to come, then I would look at the phone and suddenly I would just forget that what was the task or what was the purpose of picking up the phone. So I would not realize that and would continue watching the phone for perhaps half an hour or something. So to correct that, now I have decided to either keep my phone in a different room while I am studying or to keep it on DND, do not disturb sort of a feature that the phone has.
That is very nice, Tamanna. That is extremely smart of you. It is extremely important when you are studying. I tell my son this thing all the time that when you are studying, even if you're sitting for 2 hours and every time you're studying something important, a notification pops up on your phone. You are going to get distracted. Your flow is going to get disturbed. So even I tell him that put your phone, if you're studying for 2 hours, your phone should not be beside you. It should be in some other room, some drawer, somewhere else. This is an extremely smart move, Tamanna. Congratulations to you. Very,
Thank you, ma'am.
yes, very nice. We have to make some sacrifices. So, when we are talking about now what Tamanna has just mentioned, she made realistic changes. Something which she can, if she would have told her, no, even if the notification pops, I receive a message or something, I would not be distracted. Would that have been achievable, realistic? I suppose not, because you are going to get distracted. That is bound to happen. If you receive a message or something, your friend is calling you. For a more realistic outlook, what Tamanna did was she put her phone in some other room or she put her phone on DND, do not disturb me. That is something realistic which we can do to make our time more productive. This we have already talked, planning our day, preparing a list, timing it in a realistic way. I cannot, make a timetable that I'm going to study for 5 hours at a stretch. No, that is not practically possible. That is going to ruin my back also. We have to, give some time for break also, stretching ourselves also. Even when we are working, we have to manage our time and make a timetable which is realistic. We have to take, the break time, the washroom time, the lunch time into consideration. Why I have mentioned over here that morning is the time for hard work. I'm not saying that everyone should wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, but this is a fact. If you wake up early, you have much more productivity as compared to someone who woke up at maybe, 10 a.m. in the morning. If I'm starting my day early, I will be much more productive because, if I woke up at 7 in the morning or maybe 6 in the morning, I got, done with my routine tasks, bathing, having breakfast, my, religious rituals. And maybe by 7, 7:30, I am, available for work, to study, whatever. People who are regularly going out to their offices, to their colleges, they anyhow have to wake up early. But when we are, on the weekends, in fact, we tend to wake up late. Okay, today I will wake up at 8 or 9 in the morning, or maybe 10 also, because it's weekend. I lose on to a lot of time, a lot of activities which could have been completed on the weekend, isn't it? If we wake up early, we
Yes.
can manage much more things during a day, which we lose if we are waking up late. Then that is what, on the weekends, like interesting work, meetings, social events, those can be incorporated on the weekends or on a day which I don't have much more commitments on. Because not everything is, productive in a way that if I'm a student, I have to study only. If I'm working, I have to work only. Because that would make us dull in the wrong run. We have to incorporate social activities also. Work breaks. I have already, mentioned work breaks. Why I have written over here living 100% in the present improves your work output. Can anybody decode that for me? What is your take from it? Why living 100% in the present? I have a different take on it. And, last time I was taking this session, a few of my students had a different take on it. Like today, 80-20 rule, uh, there was a different take. Mr. Vyas had different take on it. Well, for me, living 100% in the present means, if I am living in the present, I would think that I have to do this task today only, right now only. And somebody who is living, in tomorrow or in the future, Okay, I have to do this, I have to study this much, or I have to complete this assignment for work. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll not do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. Putting it to tomorrow is all right if you are already overbooked, overwhelmed with a lot of work today. You don't have time today. You have a lot of tasks to do today. Then it is all right. But purposely putting things for future, that I will do this tomorrow or on the weekend or next week, when I have time today, I have the capability also today. Not doing that thing in the present and today is like not living in the present. And if I'm not living in the present, that is not the right way to live actually. We have to live in the present, enjoy work, be productive today, in this hour, in this minute, in this second. How much, however, we can do. Is that something that you align with? Is it okay to put things for tomorrow and procrastinate, even if we have the time and capability to do it today? Isn't that the biggest factor, that we lose track of time, that we are not able to manage our time? I feel this is the biggest thing, that we lose on time. Well, the next thing I want to talk about, as we are already, talking about prioritizing, doing things which are much more important first, and then doing the things which are not so important or urgent to be done right now only. Whatever you can do right now, you have time, you have capability, do it right now. Whatever you can delegate, it is not important, it is not required to do everything yourself. If there is lack of time, if there is something which has to be done, in an urgent manner, you don't have much time or you don't have the kind of expertise, please do delegate. At times, trying to do everything on your own, that I'll do it all, reduces productivity. You are stressed, you are overwhelmed, you have a lot of tasks to do, and none of them are, giving the outcome which is expected, which should have been there. Delay. Delay the tasks which are not urgent in any manner. You can delay the task. You have to prioritize. You have to understand. If my exams are approaching, if an interview of mine is approaching, I can delay the task, like hanging out with friends or watching a movie or scrolling social media for a later date. And right now, I can focus on preparing. Am I right or wrong? We may even delete a few tasks, unnecessary tasks, which are not productive for us. We have to understand, we have to make a list for ourselves, a positive and a negative, and we have to put, our routine activities in both the columns. That what activities I feel are positive for me, give me a better outcome, I feel more productive, and what activities are actually making me lose on to time or my routine, and I'm not able to manage my time in a better way. Can we do that? Well, I would require some kind of interaction from you all, so that I feel that I am just not talking to few names. Yes, no, thumbs up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I agree.
And if it is
Okay.
something that
People are writing in the chat, actually.
okay, actually I'm sharing the screen, so I'm not able to see the
Okay,
chat.
let me, because many comments are there in the chat. Adrita has written that during my first semester, I left my projects and presentation to be completed the night before, but when the night came, I was mentally exhausted to even present them the next day. I managed to pull off the presentation, but from that I learned that is not how I want to do things. Okay. Regarding this living in the presence, Adrita has mentioned not worrying about the future or sweating yourself about the past. Amjad sir has written, you cannot change the past and you don't know about future. काल
Very true,
करे
very
सो आज करे सो आप करे.
Exactly. Very true, very true. Living in the past, living in the future, thinking that I could have done this or I will do this, it is not going to make any change. Doing it right now. Like Adrita decided that I am not anymore putting everything for the last moment. For an example, like the way Adrita has said, just now the festive season has gone, and now again the festive season is coming, weddings, and Durga Puja has just gone. We do get things stitched, we do get our attire stitched. What do we say to tailor bhaiya? If I have to wear something on 25th of September, what I tell him that, try and make it by 21st or 22nd. Because they are going to delay it for a day or two. Definitely. Tailors do that. They might give it to me on 23rd, even if I've asked for 20th. And even if I get it on 23rd, there might be some requirements for alterations. It might not fit me. Isn't it? Doesn't it happen with anybody, be it male or female? It happens to all of us. If I would have, asked them to make it on 25th, there are 100% chances that tailor bhaiya would not give it on 25th. Even if they gave that to me on 25th, I might need some alterations, which might not be possible on the day of the event itself. So we are so smart. We keep buffer time in those things. We always do that. But we tend to forget this, great talent of ours when we are planning more important tasks in life, like preparing a presentation. If I prepare my presentation, which is going to happen on maybe sometime Friday next week, if I prepare it this Friday, this weekend, first of all, I would be stress free. Isn't it, Adrita? I would be so relaxed that I'm done with my PPT. I can go through it a lot of times. If I see that some of the maybe spelling mistakes are there, maybe animation mistakes are there, maybe I can add something more to it. Maybe I can remove something out of it. I can practice delivering the PPT. Isn't it? With any object, at the last moment, you think you were stressed. At times, what happens is, if I leave the PPT to be made on Thursday and I have to, present it on Friday, I might, have to go somewhere. And I might not have time. At times it happens, it has happened with me also that you might, fall ill. This does happen, but so why leave everything for a later date? If I know I have to present something next week, I must do it at the earliest. If I don't have any time today, maybe I, plan it for tomorrow. But I would try and complete it at least a few days before. And this is how, as I mentioned earlier, you learn from your experiences. And that is the wisest person, isn't it? Dr. Shanoli, don't you think the wisest people are who learn from their own mistakes and do not repeat them?
Yes, absolutely. Ved has written, I traveled to college by bus last year. I would used to scroll reels while traveling, but now that time is used either to think ideas, read, take blogs, and plan things. spending time on LinkedIn, being updated. Very good.
Yes, yes. LinkedIn optimization. There are a lot of things that you can do. And in fact, nowadays the smartphones are so smart. Everything, almost everything that you can do on a laptop, you can do on your mobile phone. You can plan your day ahead. You can study. Whenever I travel, at times people carry books. Nowadays, we don't carry books generally. I try, and whatever I have to study, I do it while I'm traveling. So I am taking advantage of that time. When you're waiting somewhere, maybe at a doctor's office, a while back, I was giving, training for trainers. I was doing that, and I had to travel 1.5 hours back and forth for 8 long days. I was doing that, and I, literally saw people, some smart kids who were seeing YouTube videos of, these, I think they were preparing for NEET. And I felt so happy that such a young child is so, intelligent enough and so wise that they are taking this time to study. They were two friends, and both of them, both those girls were looking at YouTube videos, not chatting, not doing anything. They were being productive. And that is how we have to choose. This is me who has to decide. If I want to waste my time, just chatting with friends or watching Instagram or maybe random reels on YouTube, or I want to make this time productive. What does it mean by communicate to save time? And this is not just about, work or our studies. It is about much more things in life. I would say quality of life also. Doesn't it happen with us? We met a relative of ours, or maybe we are working in our office. We were in a group, we were having conversations. Somebody said something, maybe in a sarcastic way, maybe in a joking manner, and I felt that they had some ulterior motive. I got hurt, but I didn't say. I didn't say. I kept it with myself, kept on thinking, bulk it, it got piled up. Then after a few days, I started disliking that person. Why? Because I thought that they had some ulterior motive to maybe humiliate me. And from then on, everything they said they did, I felt they are doing it purposely. They are not my well-wishers and they are doing it purposely. And gradually and slowly, you start detaching from that person. Has it happened to anybody? If you're mentioning on chat, please, Dr. Shanoli, please tell me. I am sharing the screen and I'm not able to,
I
please.
didn't get it. Yes. Amjad sir has mentioned yes.
It happens. And only in that scenario, if you think, if you would have communicated to that person, maybe not there and then, maybe next day, whenever you were alone, or maybe on a call, if you can call that person, and you would have told them that you said such a thing to me that day, but I don't think I like it. I don't think it was in the best spirit. And if they were not doing it intentionally, they would give you some clarification that I didn't mean that. Or maybe they are not able to clarify themselves or justify themselves, and you would know that yes, they were doing it purposely. And you would not carry the burden. Things would not pile up. If you know that they were doing it purposely, you would straight away detach from that person. You're not burning inside. And if they give you a proper justification that I didn't mean this thing, you would not be, having so much hatred for that person within yourself. So it is always better to communicate in situations where it is possible to communicate. At times it is not. Maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your professor, somebody you cannot, have regular and proper conversations with. But wherever it is possible, do communicate. In extremely, extremely cautious words, do communicate. Very politely, you can mention. Similarly, whenever you are working also to manage your time, also communicating. Like if you are working in a team, many of you might be working in a team. Like I am today giving a session on behalf for Dr. Shanoli, Flow Learns. She had communicated to me what are the requirements of the session, how the session must go along, what is the outcome we are going to achieve, we want to achieve. It must be a great learning session for the interns. That is what she communicated to me, that we are focused on giving something constructive, important, and relevant to the people who have joined this session. That is how I knew. She told me that just go into the depth of time management. I want my interns to, get a better hang of things. So that communication gave me an idea on what level, on what criteria I have to prepare my presentation, this workshop. Likewise, if you're working in a group, you are working in a team, if you're not communicating to your team that this is my capability, this is something I can do in these many hours, this is something I cannot do. If you're not communicating that, you are in your office, you are given a task, and like Dr. Hureen, she is working with an educational institution. The curriculum has changed, and the institution has given the responsibility of preparing PPTs to Dr. Hareen only, which is taking a lot of time for her. That is something the institute maybe should have discussed with her. That should have been communicated.
Here are some responses. Let me read out. Adrita has written, yes, in my personal life, this has happened to me. Uh, I have doubted my friends while they were hurt by my sudden change of behavior. Later, we had a heartfelt conversation on how I misunderstood them. I learned it in the hard way that communication and clarification is the key. Confronting is important indeed. Very good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly. Very well put. Very well put.
yes.
And you must have
Someone-
felt later on that if we would have clarified all of this then and there, or, quickly, without taking that much time, without being, negative and sad for a longer period of time, it would have been clarified if you would have had that, heart to heart earlier, isn't it?
Tamanna has written, me and my friend were very competitive for the post of department representative in the Students' Council. I got the position, and my friend commented a certain way. After that, I always used to feel that she has ulterior motives in everything she says, and that she no longer likes me. Now we are not that close. Yes.
Yes. There are always two outcomes. Generally, it happens. And it is better for you that you now understand that she doesn't have best of the motives for you. That is also very necessary. And only in these times we do understand that. So your
Devanjali, yes. Devanjali has written, ma'am, I completely understand the value of using time productively, but I also feel that sometimes, like when we are waiting in a doctor's chamber or traveling, we don't always have control over time. In those moments, instead of forcing ourselves to study or do something constructive, why can't we simply enjoy being in the present? Just observing, feeling, and experiencing the moment as it is. Even a child doesn't always need to study while traveling. Sometimes just looking out of the window, feeling curious, or being lost in their thoughts is also a kind of learning and mindfulness.
Very true. Very true.
Very
Now, as you are saying that being in your thoughts, that is also productivity. I never said that this is just an example that you can study during that time instead of recklessly, scrolling through reels or social media. Thinking about yourself, the day which went by, the day which is going to come now, that is also productivity. That is again productivity. Of course, it is okay to just relish that time, relax that I'm traveling. I don't need to focus on studying, but it depends how much overwhelmed I am. If I'm working 9 to 5, I have to travel 2 hours in the morning. I live in Delhi. So traveling is something which takes a chunk out of your day. You are generally traveling for more than 3 to 4 hours a day. If I'm doing that on a regular basis, traveling for 3, 4 hours a day, if I'm not putting it to any constructive use, if I don't have much priorities, if I don't have much task, then it is perfectly all right to relax during that period. Listen to some music, maybe. That's perfectly all right. If I have a hectic job, I'm returning from there, I would listen to some music to relax myself and be productive once I reach home. That is also perfectly all right. But at times it happens that you cannot be that I have some more responsibilities at home. I might not be able to study. I might not be able to, give some time to myself or plan for things. Then it is necessary to make my time which I am traveling to be more productive. But your take is also perfectly all right. If you are working and you are continuing further education, you know that I would not get time in my office hours, I would not get time at home also to study. It is better to study while you are traveling. Of course, travel is not in our hand. If it is something that it is not comfortable to study, it's perfectly all right. Traveling to a new location, of course, you would look out. You would look out the window. But when travel is routine, I am, traveling for the same route day in, day out, then I might not feel inclined to look out of the window and I might think that I would rather study. But yes, your point is also perfectly all right. I think we are, stretching to the end of the session. So I would, like to, I would leave the part of communication right now because that can be made up for another session, a proper session. Communication requires a proper session. We can
yes.
talk about,
Actually, there is a skill batch associated with the communication, so we
yes.
can conduct for communication another special session.
Yes, we can have a proper session. So, what are the time wasters? Major time wasters are disorganization. When I'm not organized, some people put anything everywhere. Anything and everything is anywhere. My mother used to say that we must have a pre-decided place for everything because in those times there used to be power cuts. And when there's no light, we didn't had phones which had torch. There were no smartphones when we were young. Even to find the torch, you must know where is it. If you're not keeping the things back to their place, you would not be able to find them and you would be completely disorganized. You would spend a lot of your time on finding things. So we must be organized, be it things, be it, maybe your files, your data, everything. Maybe your clothes, be organized. I have to go somewhere in the morning. I have to leave by 8. I must, my clothes should be washed, ironed in the evening only. We should not leave things to the last moment. Procrastination, living in the future. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it a day before. That is, again again the biggest time waster. Fear to delegate. This is a serious issue. An issue with everyone. That whatever task is given to me, I will do it myself only. At times we think that the other person might not be able to do it that well, the way I can do it. Other person is not that much capable, or I don't want to share my ideas. Fear of losing authority also. This also, wastes a lot of time. A lot of time wastage happens. Not wanting to say no. This is the biggest culprit. When you're working in an office, to please your boss, to be in the good books of your boss, whatever task they are given, even if that is not in your job description, you are not supposed to do that. You say yes. You don't say no. Even if you're overwhelmed, you have your hands full for another 10 days, you have that many tasks. Still, if somebody, maybe for a friend also, they say, oh, please help me out with this thing. Can you do this thing for me also? I have a family function I won't be able to do. And you take their task also. Instead, at that point of time, you could have very politely communicated that I'm already overbooked. I have time. I would have loved to help you, but I'm already overbooked. Of course, not knowing the priorities, not knowing what is most urgent, most important is another thing which wastes our time. That is extremely important. Minor time waste are like distractions. Like Tamanna said, having telephone calls, messages, these notification pop-ups. Yes, unexpected visitors. These are something that you cannot plan ahead. Needless of the things, meetings without agenda. In office hours, it also, wastes your time. So these are something, but actually these are something which are not in your control. That is why these are minor in nature, because you cannot control. They might waste a lot of time, but these are out of control. Of course, it is, if you're wasting time, you're wasting your life. We all know that. I would not like to emphasize on stress right now. I would like to emphasize, I would, discuss this topic in much more elaboration in the subsequent sessions, but I do want to give you all a glimpse of it. This is a matrix which has 4 quadrants. And if you use this matrix, you can manage your time in a much more relaxed manner and relevant manner. There are 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is the most important quadrant. There is a y-axis and an x-axis. On y-axis, the quadrant 1 and 3 lie. On the x-axis, the quadrant 3 and 4 lie. As you can see over here, the first quadrant is important and urgent. The tasks which are important also and urgent also. If I'm hungry, it is important that I eat food, and it is urgent also. It is not something that I can procrastinate, that I am hungry, I will eat 5 days after. Do we do that? Can that be, if I'm feeling sleepy, I'm tired? That is important, as well as something which is to be done right now only, or as soon as possible. Of course, I cannot fall asleep in office or in my college, but as soon as possible. So that is the most prioritized area is the quadrant 1, the situations of crisis. Like if any emergency has happened, somebody is hurt, somebody fell, these are urgent and important matters. You have to leave everything else and you have to tend to that person. Am I right or wrong? To yourself or that person whomsoever is not feeling well or hurt. The pressing problem, the problem which is pressing right now, which has to be done right now. If you were in the middle of a project, you were doing something, but your boss calls you for a one-on-one meeting. Now that is your priority. You have to, leave that task and you have to go meet your boss. If you are having your examination, if you have an interview tomorrow, that is the most important and urgent thing for you. That is the pressing problem, to prepare for that. Deadline-driven projects, like for exams, for projects which have deadline, that you have to complete this task in till that date. The last date is that. All of these things lie in the first quadrant. This is the most manageable because we know that there is a deadline, because we know that exam is tomorrow, interview is tomorrow. We can manage it accordingly. If today Dr. Shanoli tells you that this is the task related to time management, which has to be submitted before the next session, next Saturday, by Wednesday, you have to submit those tasks so that we can evaluate those. Then you have a deadline. You can manage your, work accordingly when you know that something is to be submitted by Wednesday. By managing that, we become more productive, isn't it? When I know I have to submit something by Wednesday, I plan it ahead. We will become more productive. And of course, everything we do it with our experience and judgment. And when we are productive, when we are managing things, when I know my priorities, I would be able to respond to many more other things. When I have a task to be completed by Wednesday, I plan it ahead, I complete it by Sunday or by Monday. I have time for other things. I would not be stressed. If I'm leaving it to, Wednesday or maybe even Tuesday, I would be stressed. And when I am stressed, I would not be productive. I need to have a relaxed mind. This is how the other quadrants go. The second quadrant is important but not urgent. Things which are important but not urgent. Like for students, studying is important, but if you do not have your exams in the next month or maybe till 2 months also, it is not something urgent. You can plan other activities also. If your exam is not next week or after 2 days, you can plan accordingly. If the deadline of a project you are doing is, in December, so it is not something that it is quite urgent. You can devote more time to other important things. These are long range planning. These are important but not urgent. Like if Dr. Shanoli has to attend a wedding on maybe 27th of December, she has ample time to get her clothes stitched, to maybe start a hair care routine, maybe start doing DIY mask and everything. I do that. Planning to lose weight. These are long range things. Important for us. We need to look good if we are going to attend an event, but not urgent. These tasks should be done slowly and gradually. And what is the effect of both these quadrants is overlapping. If I'm not planning the quadrant 2, important but not urgent, intelligently, smartly, I am going to stress my first quadrant. Like if I'm leaving my PPT to be prepared a day before when I have to submit or present it, I am stressing my first quadrant. A thing which I already knew, maybe since 10 days, that I have to give a presentation on Friday, but I left it to last day. If I would have started preparing it little by little, maybe from the day I got to know about it, it was important but not urgent. But when I procrastinated, it became important and urgent also. I had to do it last moment and I might not be able to do it that well, isn't it? So both these, in fact, all the quadrants are overlapping. If we are not, managing any of the quadrants well, it is going to affect the other quadrant also. So that is how there are other two quadrants also, but I would go into details of those quadrants in a subsequent session. Not right now, because I would like to, stop this PPT and would appreciate if you have any questions and feedback also, how you like the session, what is it that you want to improve in the next session. And also I would like to, tell Dr. Hureen, if she can wait after the session is over, I would like to give her some tips
communication skills.
हाँ,
Any such
network.
program or
On?
communication skills.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. That is quite important. We will definitely have sessions you want with Dr. Shanoli, and we can plan those ahead.
Devanjali has written, I love the
It's a
section, ma'am.
time consuming, ma'am. Maybe it should.
Want Dr. Sonoli, if I can understand right, Mr. Amjad is saying that he wants a marathon of sessions, like 4 or 5 sessions on continuous days. For Amjad, you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
It's a short-term course
Like for a
that
week.
will be
We
like
can plan
gradually we will
Yeah.
be planning on that too. Actually, uh, we will be
Yes.
starting on short-term courses on public speaking, communication. There are various things, digital marketing, and everything will be
Yes.
coming shortly, gradually. So
Yes. And not
stay
some
in
courses.
touch with Prolams.
You must have some time. Yes, Dr. Shanoli. So sorry.
No, it's all right. So I'm just telling
You
Kitty.
have to, when
Yes. Yes,
you may speak.
you stay in touch with Prolabs. Gradually, we will be updating everything.
And whenever you're planning to, start a course for 4 or 5 days long, always, have some spare time, because I believe